Hey guys, I am back with another video, but it's not a typical video because you guys usually don't hear my voice on this channel, but it's fine. Today, I'm going to be teaching you guys how Video Star works and stuff since I have somebody who asked me how it works, but I don't know how to record it and segment, so I decided to just make a whole video about it. Sorry, I'm fixing something right now. So yeah, let's just get into it. So when you open up Video Star, you're gonna be greeted with a blank screen compared to me, who has a lot of different edits for stupid stuff that I've done before. So yeah, just ignore that, but just know this is where all your edits are gonna be when you do them, and unfinished and finished ones. So now we're gonna work with the buttons of Video Star. You're gonna have four little corners with two different buttons on each. This one is like community stuff for Video Star. This right here is like your settings and delete button. This is all your editing stuff. And then this stuff is like for help and iCloud thing. I don't know what that is because I've never touched it. And then up here is where you actually get to make your edit. This song right here is usually the songs that they have in their Video Store has in their library and stuff. So if you want to use a song from there, I guess. But you would go to here, video format, and this is where you get to make how big or small your edit is. I usually go for this one right here, but on some occasions I go for the widescreen if I'm deciding to upload it somewhere else. But usually I upload it on Instagram, so I go with that. And if you have a song already in your library that you want to use, then you can go select song. But you see, I don't have that. So we're gonna go to edit video, and this is where you're able to use audio of other things that you recorded before. So that's how I'm able to, take different TikToks and just
I realized why we're all attracted to e-boys. It's
see like that, and you can decide where you can start the clip and when you end it, and just know this will be your background sound for whatever you're going to be placing over this edit, and then you would hit make video. But we're not going to be talking about e-boys today. We're going to be going to this edit right here. I don't want to play that. I want to edit it, and you're going to click the scissors for that. Now you're on this display screen, and this right here that I'm dragging this on, this is your duration bar, so it just shows you how long of the edit that you have. But this is also where you're able to cut and have certain scenes and stuff. This right here is like your indicator for what you're doing, pretty much, besides just the visual aspect of it. So I'm going to take you through all these things and make sure I don't hit anything that's going to ruin it. So this right here, this is like extra stuff, like if you want to do certain things, like if you want to bleep a certain thing out of it, then this is like sound effects, or you want to fade something out, then you do that. Then you have the edit button right here, which this is where most of your, I guess, technical stuff goes instead of your visual stuff. This is what you need to set up for your visual stuff. First, what you have is copy. So, like, if I split down the middle right here, or wherever it loops, around like the middle part right here, and I wanted to, copy and paste it over here, then I would copy the part that I have already finished and paste it on the other side that needs to loop, if that makes any sense. And then, of course, the paste button, whenever you copy it, we'll paste it there. Merge scenes, that's when you cut down, like, let's just use the quick split button real quick. That's when you like split down something, and then after you're done with that section and you have to, I guess, loop it later, but you can't loop every individual scene, then you would have to do merge scenes, which you set your start point and set your end point, and it would just merge it together. And it says a merge cannot be undone, but if you really need to, go back to your split button and try to split it as evenly as possible as where you need it to be. So then, of course, I showed you split, and multi-split is pretty much just the same. It's just that you're able to get more parts split in at one time instead of just one singular spot. But I decided to do just the one spot because I'm indecisive half the time. So yeah. And then you have share video clip, which I don't know what this does. I never touch it, so it's probably just something that I need in my life, but whatever. Select, this is when you actually have like photos already overlaying the video in the background, and you get to select which one you want to be shown. Then you have new. this is where your visual aspects come into play. And so you have record video. So if there's something that you want to record at the moment that you want to put into your video, we'll edit. Then you will do that. Import import video. That's when you import a video from your camera roll. Import photos. Same thing, but with photos. Motion and velocity. That gets to decide how your edit moves, like speed wise and stuff like that. Reeffect clip is where you're able to add like all your flashes and all your little beat stuff and your stretching and your bloating and whatever. Then we have transform and mix. I'm not going to touch those because my phone can't, like iPhone 6s can't really sustain that sometimes when I'm recording, but they do work. It's more of a kind of like visual aspect as well. And the multi-layer, this is where you're going to be doing all your work pretty much. Now, if you haven't heard before, I'm going to make sure I put this in the beginning of the video. You have to pay for multi-layer, and that's like about $5-6, and that's going to give you the option to do all these things in multi-layer clip. And I spent I had a $25 gift card, and I spent about like $10 on all the stuff I currently have. And that's just, so the most expensive thing you'll ever pay is probably multi-layer, and the second most is probably, I think, is probably like either text or something. But whatever, the most you'll probably spend on VideoStar for the necessities are $10. Maybe 10, at least 7-ish, but it's whatever. When editing things like this, I try to get the audios I can see the like edit that they've already had the audio over, so I can have a kind of idea of how beats work. I'm starting to get better at cutting my own hearing it, but for the most part, if you're a beginner, you're not really in tune with hearing when a beat is supposed to drop and when you're supposed to cut, and it gets a little confusing sometimes. So I would suggest getting an audio with a video behind it to show you where the beats are and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna play some, and usually I try to cut it before the frame starts again. Like, I try to make sure I'm like a frame off, kind of. Not off, but like it has to be like on frame. I usually just use this button to make sure. So see, like I try to stop it as soon as possible, so when it's like that, then I quick split it right there, and then it's more and then it would be, if it wasn't like that, like it would be on beat, but to me it would be satisfying, I guess. So oh, I just missed it. Where is it? Okay, right there. If you can kind of see, even if it's dark, if you can kind of see it, then you should be fine. Okay, so then I'm gonna try to find when Kokichi shows up, about right there. Even if you like that, that means you're on beat. So we're just gonna work with these clips right here. And I'm going to show you some basic transitions. Now, I'm going to play through and make sure. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you some transitions. And the first transition I'm going to teach you guys is going to be the zoom in and zoom out transition. And pretty much this is a basic transition that you can learn pretty easily. I'm going to show you the way I do it, and a lot of people do it. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start at the very beginning because I have a part of the edit already created, and the last part was a zoom out. So we're going to start with the photo or the video or whatever completely zoomed in, so size 200, and about the midpoint, so right here, I would zoom out back to 100. And since that's the key right there, as you can already see, it's already zoom out, but you need the curves. A curve is pretty much just how your transition would flow. And I use the first 4 rows. The ones all the way down here are typically used for shakes and stuff like that. So unless you're going for that, I wouldn't bother too much. But the first 4 are pretty much your best friends. Your left side is your in curves, I guess, and your right side is going to be your out curves. And since this is a finishing transition, this is going to be an out curve. And I usually use either this one or this one. I think I might use that one because of how, yeah, it's, see, compared to when it first did it, where it was just a straight line. You can tell it looks a lot better. Now that you have just your basic zoom out like that, you're gonna go to color, and this is another pack you have to pay for, and it's called I think it's cinematic something, but this one gives you all your tracking blurs and all your blurs to make your edit look a little bit smoother. And the one you're going to be using is the one I just put, which is tracking blur. This is what a lot of editors use in order to make it seem like their edits don't really have cuts in between the different clips and stuff. It just makes it run a little bit smoother. So you're gonna put tracking blur on this, and usually I put barely a little if it's a finishing transition, because of the fact that it's a finishing transition. The first one should have had enough to make it seem seamless, but you never know. So I just put a little bit, and yeah, and we just grade it real quick, and let's just view how it looks real quick. So yeah, now we're gonna work on the zoom in portion. There's two ways you can kind of do this. There's two ways you can go about this in the finishing transition. There's a zoom in and zoom out. I'm going to show you both of them. So first, you're going to go to right here. Not that one. That's for spinning. You're going to size, and you're going to press the little arrow. And you're going to put two of them now. Because you already have a transition in the beginning, you're going to need a transition at the end. So the middle point is going to be like the new starting point. And at this point right here, usually is where people would either zoom back in. So you'd either just, go right here, zoom in, and put an in curve like that, and then just do this. Or another way is the one I wanted to show you, is another zoom out, which is the one that was supposed to be in front of this, the zoom out from this one, if that makes any sense. This one, you'd have to go down in the slider and just let it do its thing like that, and then you'd have to hit the mirror tracking blur, add some tracking blur a lot, since it's going to be the end. Well, yes, it's the end of your clip, but the beginning of another transition, pretty much. And you're just gonna hit create, and yeah, that's I don't know how to explain it. The zoom in, zoom outs are pretty simple to explain. All you have to do is just play with the slider. If you want to have it zoomed in completely and then zoom out, then just do that. If you want it to be zoomed in and then zoom out and then zoom in, just do what I just showed you. The zooms are pretty simple, I feel like. I'm pretty bad at explaining it. I'm so sorry. Okay, I seriously don't know what's wrong with my phone, but it doesn't like recording my voice. I don't blame it though, but I just really went through the entire spin transition. I'll try to do it as fast as I can, because it's literally so simple, but you never know. So I'm just going to go to multi-layer right here, and I'm just going to go to the first clip, and I'm just going to hit this clip right here I have imported. It just finished off the last transition. Now we're gonna go here, and we're gonna find our midpoint again, and we're gonna add our keyframes. And the two keyframes we'll be using are this one, and this one. This one you're gonna keep the same size or same rotation balance as this one. So if this one is at 0, then this one should be at 0 too, because that's going to be like a starting point for the transition on this side. On this one though, you're going to go which way you want. So I'm going to go my right, and right here on the curves, I'm going to do a small curve, because this one's a shorter clip. So I'm going to go do the third one like that, and I'm going to go back, mirror, color, add some tracking blur. Usually on these ones I add a lot more, a little bit, not that much, but about middle-ish. And I hit create. And there you go. And on this one, I'm just going to redo it again real quick. is that you're going to get your, frame, and at the beginning, you're going to find your center point, and at the keyframe that is going to be the ending point for it. So if you want it to be at the very end, then add the ending point right there, but I usually like starting mine in the middle because I have another transition to add. But this one right here, you're going to go the opposite direction, and a key point in remembering this, in your last transition, like if it was the beginning transition of the transition, if your number was at like 50 going right, then your number has to be 50 going left, so it looks nice and doesn't seem choppy. Because if you go 50 at one and then go 25 at another one, it's gonna look choppy and it's gonna look weird, and you don't want that for your spin transition. So you're just going to do pretty much the opposite of what you did on the last one, and you're going to go to the last keyframe and go to the curve right here. You're going to do the opposite curve that you did for the first one. Go back, mirror it, add some tracking blur. This one I usually don't add as much because the first one is set up to have a lot anyways. Review it real quick. And then let's see how it looked real quick. And yeah, that's your rotations. They're pretty simple, honestly. Okay, so video start crashes on me every time I try to hit create on this when I try to show a slide transition. So I'm just going to show you guys it now. I just not press create, and I'll show you in the aftermath. So how to do a slide transition. I should be finishing up this transition, but I won't. I'll just show you the both ways. So if you're starting off the transition, you're going to be using this side now, and you're going to press your arrows. Now this time you're going to need all three of these, and this one right here is going to be where your transition starts or ends depending on which way you're going. We're going to be trying this way first, and then you're going to go to your very last keyframe and move it in any direction, but just remember that direction, because when you go for the finishing part of the transition, you have to go the opposite way. So if I went this way, I usually go to like the third line in the grid, and then I get a large curve like that. So you can see it like that, and then I mirror it, and then add the tracking blur, and then you see it slides like that. You pretty much just do the same thing for this one right here, but instead of having all those small steps, you're just gonna go the opposite direction of whatever you're doing. Oh, I still have it mirrored, that's why it's like that. So I'm just gonna go about like right there, and then have it come out like that. And then for the path or the curve, I'm gonna use the opposite of what I used last time. And yeah, that's pretty much how you do a slide transition. I don't know why it keeps crashing on me when I record it, and it's not doing anything, but yeah, that's how you do a slide transition. Okay, now I have my entire edit finished, and I'm just going to show you some of the finishing touches that I would add to your transition. Sorry, I keep saying that word today. To your edit. First of all, I'm going to go to the one where most of it starts. So like, this is kind of like a plot twist edit, so I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to show you how to use the QR codes that a lot of people use. This kind of helps me out a lot because I am still kind of shaky on making my own shakes and stuff. So first off, how to do one. Let me go to this one right here. You're going to multi-layer clip, and you're going to go to the clip that you want to use the QR code. And then you're going to hit the QR code up next to cancel, and you have 3 buttons: import, presets, and share. I press import, and go to the presets. You can find these on Instagram, YouTube. There's videos about them and stuff like that. All the people who make these presets are amazing. I will credit them in the description, because these people have literally helped me out with making my edits look a lot neater and a lot sharper depending on how I want it to look like. But since this audio has a more bass and beat, I'm going to be using a lot of shakes. So I'm gonna go look for the shade that I usually use, and usually I just use these bounces by Video Star Presets on Instagram. So you would just click it and press yes, and it would just show you the layers that you would need. I already have a video layer, and it shows me what it's gonna look like. And that's all it is. You just get the QR code, and then once you're in your edit, you can kind of just changes the entire look of what the original clip was like. So I'm just gonna go through my entire edit and just add different bounces and shakes, and I'll credit the bounces and shakes and stuff like that in the description if you guys want to know who to get these from. And yeah, I'll be like right back after I do all this stuff. Okay, so I just finished up the edit, kind of besides this one part that I'm gonna add in, and what I just did is just merge all the scenes from the edit right here and just put it in the loop section by, merging it, pressing copy, and pasting it. And then for the last part that didn't really get like a loop part, I guess, I just merged it together. And this part right here, why it's cut, is because I'm going to add a little plot twist shake from Video Star Transitions. This one kind of gives it the little shake effect and it kind of zooms out as well. So yeah, I'm just going to add that real quick. It doesn't let me show it because Video Star crashes when I record and show it. So I'll just show it to you guys in the final edit. But yeah, that's all I've done so far. We're getting to the very end of our first ever edit. Yay! Okay, so just don't mind the background. I changed it because I just forgot I could do that, even though I just said that in the tutorial, but it's whatever. Anyways, yeah, the edit is now finished. I'll give you guys the finished product at the end, but there's two things actually we have to add. These are things that I personally like adding, but you can do it too if you want. Go to multi-layer clip again, and now that you have your entire edit merged together, make sure that's a key point in what you're doing right now. You're gonna go to the QR code thing again, and go find, unless you know how to do it yourself. Mine's are always choppy, but I want the one right here. Find a panning kind of preset that somebody made, or you can do one yourself. Mine are usually choppy, like I said, and this one I don't think deserves that much choppiness, just a little bit, so I decided to use let me just go see who it was again. I did not see the check. I don't know, I don't speak English correctly. Video Star Presets, of course. So just add that into there. And another thing I add, because this is going on Instagram as well, is I add in my watermark. So I'm just going to do that. And how I do it is that I size it down a little bit, so it's not too bad. I go to like at least 10. And then for color, I go to color and I just fade it. So it's still there, but you can hardly see it. So yeah, that's all you have to do. And I would press create, but I'm kind of scared that's going to crash on me. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, I guess. I know this is kind of a weird long video, especially with me not knowing how to explain things, but I hope I helped you guys out in some way. And yeah, thank you for watching.